Pittsburgh Steelers are planning to meet with free agent quarterback Russell Wilson, according to Pittsburgh Steelers insider Jerry Dulac. Now, this is a very complicated situation, but one that all Steelers talk has plenty of information on. I was told down in Indianapolis that the Pittsburgh Steelers could have or do have a ton of interest in Russell Wilson. And if they can get him for cheap, that is their top option this offseason. That includes bringing back Mason Rudolph, and that includes keeping Kenny Pickett. Their outlook is if they can sign Russell Wilson to somewhere around the league minimum, which is believed to be a possibility, that they will add him, bring back Mason Rudolph, who they do not expect to have a major market out in free agency, and then keep Kenny Pickett. That allows them to have two younger options and Russell Wilson for however long they can work out a deal for. Now, Russell Wilson, when it comes to being cheap, easy to happen. He's still going to get $37 million plus from the Denver Broncos this season and next season. That means he could sign for the league minimum, still make just about $39 million in 2024, and that is not a bad deal for a starting quarterback who is above the age of 35. He's a guy that people look at and say, I don't want Russell Wilson. Why would I want this guy? All the crazy headlines that he has made over the last couple of years, especially in Denver, from situations like doing high knees on the team plane to having his own office. Look, when it comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers and Mike Tomlin, he has handled situations like this before. And whether you like Mike Tomlin or don't like Mike Tomlin, you have to acknowledge that he has done a pretty good job keeping a lot of names, including some currently on the roster, under wraps for very distracting situations. And it shouldn't be expected that he wouldn't be able to do this with Russell Wilson. If he came to Pittsburgh, a 35-year-old quarterback, 36-year-old quarterback, Mike Tomlin, a young offense, I think that he'd be just fine. I think Russell Wilson would fit right in. The Steelers are very interested in this guy. According to Dulac, Russell Wilson has interest in joining the Pittsburgh Steelers as well. And you could look at it and say, well, that's not the best option. It might be the best realistic option. You could look at Justin Fields and say that's a possibility, but you don't know what the ceiling is there. You also don't know what you're going to have to give up in return for a Justin Fields. You could look at Kenny Pickett and say, give this guy one more shot. You got to lean on the guy. It's only his third year. He's never had an offensive coordinator. All valid arguments. But at the same time, the Pittsburgh Steelers are ready to win right now, and they don't have the opportunity to take a chance on Kenny Pickett and it not work out. You could say, hey, I'm a big fan of Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph makes a lot of sense. Mason Rudolph has some upside, and maybe he is the answer for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but he still doesn't have the surefire potential that Russell Wilson does. And you could look at Russ and say, he was never a winner in Denver. He hasn't been a winner in a couple of years. That's very true. But this is a 9-time Pro Bowler. This is a guy who has won a Super Bowl in the past. This is a guy who's been to 2 Super Bowls before. He knows how to win. He's done it a lot throughout his career. At the end of the season last year with Denver, he looked pretty good, and he was leading them back to a winning record. Things were looking bright. There are positive signs to a potential signing when it comes to Russell Wilson. Is it the best outcome for the Pittsburgh Steelers? No, maybe not. I think Kirk Cousins or something crazy and splashy would probably be their best look. And an immediate, this is a surefire thing. But Russell Wilson comes with a lot less question marks than maybe some other options. And if you could get him for as cheap as people expect to be able to get him, and he is ready to come in here and play and start and develop Kenny Pickett at the same time, it's almost a win-win. Prepare yourself for a Super Bowl run in 2024, and hopefully you develop your next quarterback in Kenny Pickett behind him moving forward.